All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Black Spitter Circle. Today's a special Sunday episode. I just came back from the Houston Record Convention, so I want to share what I found over there, and also my our buddy Joseph Staub is with us. He's going to share what he's found throughout the week, and soon we will have the co-host Al Horta jump in with what he has found recently, and we're gonna go ahead and share everything that we've found and seen. We're gonna just go back and forth, round and round, like we usually do. And if one person has more than the other, that person will just continue on. All right. Hey, Mark, how's it going, man? It's good to hear from you. So go ahead, Joseph. What do you got today, man?
So one of the first things one of my local stores, the guy that runs the particular booth, uh, sometimes his CD, I think he runs a bunch of booths at different places,
Like
and
antique
and
stuff?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So normally he's been good for a lot of like DVDs. He has a ton of DVDs and stuff, and I've gotten a lot of stuff from him. But for the past couple of years, his CD selection hasn't been very good, and when he does put some stuff in, it's usually not in very good condition.
Uh-huh.
But what I think probably within the last couple of weeks, he put a brand new shipment of stuff in, and it's all been in fantastic condition, like looking pretty much like near mint CDs, and they're all like $3 to $5 a piece.
Oh,
So I
nice.
went kind of crazy. And there's been some artists that people have been wanting me to kind of get into a little bit more, and so he's had a lot of full discographies on CD.
Yeah.
Um, hey Al.
Hey,
Hey guys.
we're just starting. Joseph hasn't even gotten to his first purchase yet. So like I was telling Joe, we're just gonna go in a round robin, and then from there, if someone has more than the others, they'll just continue.
Okay.
Right, right.
Alrighty.
So go ahead, Joe.
So one of the artists that people were really telling me to get into, and I've known kind of their hits and stuff, and that's going to be the same for the next artist I'm going to talk about a little bit as well, is Steely Dan. And so the booth I was at had all of their '70s albums on CD, so I picked up all their '70s albums. So it's starts with "Can't Buy a Thrill" and "Countdown to Ecstasy," "Pretzel Logic," "Katie Lied," Royal Scam, and then finishing up with Aja. So I mean, I'm interested to hear some of this stuff because I know particularly some of the later albums in the '70s, so stuff like Pretzel Logic, Katie Lied, Aja. People really hold that up as some really great music,
Yeah.
and I know mainly their hits. And so I'm really excited to kind of dig a little bit more into some of these albums and get to know them a little bit more. So those are some of the first stuff I have a lot of. The only bad part is, and I hate I'm a stickler when it comes to my collection. If I have like CDs of a group, I like to keep them. I like to have all of them of like the same pressings. So
Wow, okay.
the first four are all these old MCA pressings with like this design on the back
Yeah.
here. But the Royal Scam is the remastered edition, and Aja is like a different MCA pressing. So I'm like, oh, come on. But
Mm.
just a slight little nitpick, but yeah. So I'm excited to get into their whole '70s discography here. So that's the first of the things I've picked up lately. So we'll see how I like getting into all those albums, and then there's another artist that I'll get into on the next go round that I'm really excited to get a little bit more into.
Well, that's cool. You're gonna be rewarded with some really good albums. All those are fantastic. They're really good. Al, what's the first thing you want to share with us of your new addition to your collection?
Well, actually, I'm in the middle of like really like cleaning up my office now and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shit scattered. I decided to just pull out some stuff some autographed items that I have.
Oh, okay, cool.
If
Nice.
that's cool with you guys.
Oh yeah.
Um, I'll start off with this, man. This is a CD by Ray Davies from the Kinks,
Mm-hmm.
called Working Man's Cafe. It's actually signed by him there. I actually acquired this from a radio station up in New York City, um, and it was cool, man. I mean, to have Ray Davies autograph, I think he's a legend, dude, from the Kinks, obviously. And this is something he released. God, it's already like 2008. So this is already, God, like 15 years ago already. So 16 years ago. And it's cool. It's a cool disc, man. And yeah, autographed by Ray himself, dude. I mean, I mean, the Kinks, man. I mean, I put them up there. Obviously, as they were part of the British invasion, and with the Beatles, Stones, all that. And they don't get talked as much in that conversation. I think they should, though, because I think they were very, very influential and groundbreaking band. So, but it's cool to have something autographed by Ray Davies. It's cool. I never saw the Kinks, but I did see Ray solo one time, and he was great. So that's one of the items I wanted to show off.
That's something that the Kinks really should be talked more about, because they are different from the Beatles and the Stones.
Yeah,
I think that they're a little bit heavier, a little bit faster, and kind of has that pop punk. And now bringing that up, I had this week for Valentine's Day, I had received the 30th anniversary of Dookie, which is a 4-disc special, and they cover the Kinks. They do "Waiting for You" on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is interesting. Since I'm going to share a couple at a time, since I've got quite a bit, but I'm going to start off. I found I went to a record convention here in Houston today, and I bought some stuff. I bought several albums and a handful of CDs and one cassette. But the one cassette, this one was $5. I try to find anything with a Black Sabbath name on it. So on cassette, I got their greatest hits that was released in '86, which is their Aussie years. You can see it a little better there. So I was excited. I had gone through the cassettes and I had missed this one. I just kept going, and when I came on my back around, I saw it. I was like, "Oh, cool! I can't believe I missed that." And for CDs, I grabbed. I don't have that much Rush of the '90s. The most current one I have is Roll the Bones. So I picked up. This one was remastered of Counterparts, which I heard on the way home. Which, I was able to hear the whole thing.
I love that. I love that album, man.
And it's an amazing album. It's really good.
Yeah.
Really, the guitar is fantastic on here.
Yeah, that's when Alex really came back, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Presto Roll the Bones were good. Great songs on there. I just thought Alex was still a bit thin on those albums, but then this one, dude, he comes back roaring. I remember hearing "Stick It Out" on the radio, and I'm like, "Oh shit, man, Alex is back!"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a really good song, and also "Cold Fire" was
Cold Fire is great. Yeah,
a really great song that's very unlike them to begin with. So I really enjoyed that one. Also picked up Now What by Deep Purple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with this one, but I'm excited to get into it. And also the band X. This one's still sealed. This is their debut album, Los Angeles from 1980. They were kind of in that punk movement that started it all out.
Yeah, they're a punk band. Yeah.
LA. So this one was still wrapped, and it's got bonus tracks on there.
I believe the leader and the singer of that band was John Doe.
John Doe,
who went on to do acting, and he's actually in Great
Balls of Fire.
And also
the George Strait movie.
Well, the one with Patrick Swayze, Roadhouse.
Oh yeah, is he? Okay.
Yeah. With Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and the movies that he's on, the ones that I mentioned, the Great Balls of Fire, and the one that he did with George Strait, Pure Country. He's the drummer in both bands.
Oh wow!
In the movie, he plays drums on both of them. But here, he's pretty much the whole architect of X. So
yeah,
I was excited to find that still wrapped. And then, like I was telling Joe, I got this compilation, the best of R&B classics. It's a 4 CD set. So I was pretty excited to find this. It was pretty cool. It's got a lot of R&B hits from the 70s mainly, like the Stylistics and Percy Sledge and the Spinners and Marvin Gaye and stuff. So I do like R&B specifically from that era, from the 70s and 80s.
That's the good
So,
R&B.
so yeah, so I was excited to find that. All right, go. Okay, go ahead, Joe. What else you got?
All right, so next, I just grabbed these from beside me. Anyone who's been following my appearances on this show lately will know that I have really, really been listening to a lot of Steve Hackett lately. And so I had some Amazon gift cards, and so I picked up two more of his more recent live albums. And they're ones that I hadn't really seen for sale much, so I kind of jumped on them. And so the first one is the one he did with an orchestra in like 2019. This is really good. Hearing some of those Genesis songs with a full orchestra is really great, and there's some of his solo songs that really fleshes them out as well. I always love his last few solo albums have been pretty good, but I really love when he plays the songs live because it really just fleshes out the songs a lot more.
Yep.
And another one that I got was one of the original ones that he put out when he first did the Genesis Revisited project in like 2012. This is live at the Royal Albert Hall. He has a couple of guests on this one. He brings out John Wetton does a song on here. I'm pretty Ray Wilson, who was on probably mostly regarded as one of the worst Genesis albums, comes on here and does a really, really good version of the Carpet Crawlers. It's a really, really great version. And of course, the rest of his band is always great. So they did some really good tracks on here. It's kind of spread pretty evenly throughout all of the different Genesis albums that Steve was on. And so those are always some great ones. So those are two more Steve Hackett live albums that I picked up recently.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, Mark Alden Taylor. Yes, that's right, Mark. You did tell me about X, so I went ahead and I picked it up.
Yeah. What was it?
And that Steve Hackett's are great.
Ray Wilson. Yeah, he sang on "Calling All Stations." That's the one.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, you know what, man? I revisited that not too long ago. It's really not that bad of an album, dude.
It's not. It's really not.
They kind of went back a bit prog on there, actually. You know,
there's definitely probably 4 or 5 Genesis albums I'd put below it.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Huh.
Definitely, I'd put it above of course the album that no one ever talks about, the first one.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that at all. The really pastoral
Revelation.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. And I'd probably put it above. And then there were 3 I'd put it above. Definitely We Can't Dance. There's only a couple songs I really enjoy on We Can't Dance, but I really think Calling All Stations is a pretty solid album. Just people didn't give it any kind of chance.
Right. Nah, it's almost kind of parallel to like Van Halen 3, dude. Like nobody wanted to give a third vocalist a chance in Genesis and in Van Halen, so it was really kind of, But I think Calling All Stations is a pretty solid album. It's not. Yeah. Everybody called it a turd. It's really not, dude. It's just that nobody really wanted to give it a chance. It was the late '90s,
and to be fair, it kind of had a little bit of like Blaze Bayley syndrome as well, that they didn't do a good job writing for his voice.
Oh, okay.
I'll be back in a second, guys.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good. They didn't do a really good job writing for his voice. If you see anything he's done since, his voice has really, really matured, and that's why the version of Carpet Crawlers that he does on this, it sounds so good. It fits his voice so much better. His voice has really kind of matured. And I think he's done a great job of everything he's done afterwards, because he really didn't get a lot of credit there because of the kind of reception that Calling All Stations got.
Right. And do you think maybe the with both Van Halen 3 and Calling All Stations, there was no follow-up after that? That was it. That had something to do with that not garnering anything either, because they didn't keep going. They just stopped and that was it.
It was actually a very similar thing for both of them. That not only was the album just a flop and never followed up on, they barely toured for it at all. Like the tour was even really, they canceled, I think, most of the tour in America for both Van Halen 3 and for Calling All Stations.
Okay.
They canceled both tours just because ticket sales. It was kind of similar to the Motley Crue 94. Ticket sales were not there, and so I'm pretty sure I remember reading this pretty recently. Like they canceled like probably 30 or 40 shows on the Calling All Stations tour. Yeah, it was supposed to be a 23-day North American tour in pretty big arenas for Calling All Stations, and they canceled it. And then they rebooked it as a 20-day tour for smaller arenas, and then they canceled that as well. So they didn't tour, I don't believe, at all in America for Calling All Stations. They had to cancel the entire American tour.
The U.S. tour, yeah.
What do you got next, Al?
Since you guys are showing off a couple, I'll go, instead of going one at a time, I'll just show off a few too.
All right.
Here's a cool Overkill poster I got. It's signed by the band at the time. It was the Electric Age album, and it's signed by the whole band. You got Dee Dee Verney, you got all of them on here really that were in the band at the time. They did an in-store like signing at a record store near my house, so I went there. So that's cool. I met Black Country Communion one time, and then so because Jason Bonham was in it and everything, I bought. I had this Jason Bonham band CD. It was a tribute to his dad, John, obviously, and he did all Zeppelin covers on here.
Oh wow!
Yeah, In the Name of My Father, the Zepp set, live from Electric Ladyland Studios. So he signed that for me. If you could see it there, he signed that for me, which was cool. And meeting him was cool, cool dude. Of course. Tesla Here and Now, signed by the whole band there. This is when I met them at the legendary Stone Pony in Asbury Park. It was one of their shows, and I had a meet and greet with them, so that was cool. I've met them a couple of times, man. They're always great guys. King's X, Faith, Hope, Love, signed by the whole band there. I've met them quite a few times as well. I have a few of their albums actually signed by them. They're also great guys. Obviously, my favorite Headache by Geddy Lee when he did it in store long time ago. This was in 2000. And it was cool. He signed the CD and then one personal item. So I got the poster that comes with the Hemispheres album. I got that signed by him as well. Mm-hmm. So that was cool, Yeah, that is. I'll show off one more here. When I met Sabbath with Dio, it was the Rules of Hell box set. Mm-hmm. And it's signed by all of them, man. Ronnie, Geezer, Tony and Vinny. So this is very big prized possession for me because Ronnie's gone now, so I hold this in high regard, and it's cool. It's got all the Dio era albums remastered in here with him with Sabbath. So that's a few there. So
that was the box set that they originally put the Hammersmith show on, right?
No, it's not on here.
Is it not?
No,
I thought that was what it was originally for.
The Hammersmith show originally was a standalone release.
Oh, was it?
And it was only limited to I think 5,000 copies. And I remember ordering it and it sold out immediately. So I do have a copy of that. But then when I believe when then it came out with a deluxe edition of, it's either on Heaven and Hell or Mob Rules. It's the disc 2. It was the first round of the deluxe editions. They included that as the bonus disc. So for anybody that had missed out on that standalone release, they were able to get it that way then.
Well, I know what pissed me off with the 2021 remasters or whatever they did. Didn't break it up in half and put Heaven and Hell songs on Heaven and Hell and put the Mob Rules songs
on Mob Rules? They didn't put full shows on there or any of that shit.
It's so stupid.
I know. I hate that.
That's what I love with every Motorhead reissue that they've done, whether it be the original deluxe, like the 2004 deluxe editions, or even now that they're going back and doing all these deluxe editions again, you're getting full shows with every single set.
Yeah, I love that.
Or even where's that here? The Born Again deluxe edition. It has the whole Reading Festival show on.
Yeah.
But I hate that they did that for the 2021 remasters and then expected you to pay like $20 for a 2 CD set with nothing new on it
Yeah.
and splitting up what had already been released. So
Yeah.
stupid.
Yep. Yeah, man.
I listen to a lot of what you all say on Black Spitter, and when we're doing our shows and on different podcasts. So recently, I've been trying to get more and more into rock jazz fusion. We've talked about that recently during the last month or so. So I've got a couple of albums here that I bought today, and a lot of them were like $1 just to get my feet wet. I didn't want to get things I wasn't too sure about. But the first one, let me know. I read a little bit about this band, and let me know if y'all know a little bit more about them. But the band is called Chase. This is called Pure.
I can't say I'm familiar with them.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Their third album. They had started off in 68 and 69, where they were like a Chicago or a Blood, Sweat, and Tears. But this was their last album. Their third album was their last one. As I was reading about them after I bought it so that I could put it into my system, this was released right either before or after in 73 or 74. There was a plane crash and half of them died in that plane crash in Minnesota right before they were about to take off. So kind of like Skinner, but they happened about 4 or 5 years earlier. So they were kind of forgotten. So I went ahead and picked this up. I'm very excited to hear what this is about because this is the album that they kind of left the Chicago and Blood, Sweat, and Tears sound and start to really be heavier and more fusion. And then unfortunately, they didn't get to do any more after this. So I'm excited to look into that. Our good buddy Bushy, Nate Atkinson, we were doing the best of some year and I forgot, and he had mentioned this band, and I found this one a double live album for $1, so I thought I'd give it a spin. Spyro Gyra.
Spyro Gyra, yeah.
Spyro Gyra, yeah. And I'm not too familiar with that. I just know that they are also fall into that poppy jazz rock fusion. So it's a double live album, and it was $1. I said, you know what? I'll give it a go. It looks so clean too. So I'm excited to find out more about that.
And listen, man, $1 is not a big gamble, dude.
Yeah, especially if I want to get into stuff.
Yeah.
That
I'm just happy. I'm just happy you're still able to get like sometimes record store. Would you go to a record convention? You said.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that was record convention.
Yeah.
But I'm glad, like, I can still find some. I just found a store actually by my work, actually. So on my way home from work, and sometimes I'll stop there, and they had a really great bin, and it was like $3 for like used albums, but they were like really like not like all beat up and scratched up. I mean, they were pretty clean, and I was finding like good stuff in there, like some Nugent, some. Just some really good stuff. Not like crap you find at like a thrift store. Like good stuff, man. So
I might have to look into that.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I might have to look into that Spyro Gyra album. It has a 4.5-star rating on AllMusic.
Yeah, because that's what I use is AllMusic. That's where I put all my music into.
I heard a lot of Spyro Gyra when I used to work with my brother, and my brother became like a jazz head. And they'd always play like a lot of Spyro Gyra on the jazz station we'd listen to. But it's good stuff, man. I mean, it's I think you'll enjoy it, Andy.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty excited to delve into this new kind of genre that I'm checking out. And my wife said, "Oh well, you're just getting into that genre just so you can buy more stuff." Because I've hit a wall, so I need to.
Yeah, but she's not supposed to know it.
Yeah. And also this, I've heard about this band because Chuck Leavell is in it, and so is Jamo from
Allman Brothers Band.
From Allman Brothers. But this album here, JAMA went back to the Allman Brothers. I'm talking about Sea Level, another band that I haven't gotten into yet either. I think they're off the Capricorn. Yeah, they're off of Capricorn Records as well, and they were kind of a southern rock fusion band. And I like Chuck Leavell's playing. I always have. So, another band that I've never heard nothing by them at all. So, I'm excited to check that out.
Cool.
And so I'll stop there, and I will continue on in a little bit. I'm doing these by a genre. So go ahead, Joe.
All right, so this is just a one album shot here. So kind of going along with the theme of things I've been railroaded into buying because of shows that I've been on. I've been pretty open in the past about my dislike for this band, but the 1970 show that we did a couple weeks ago, both Al and Andy waxed poetic about this album. And I have never, ever been a fan of Santana. And so I was at the store and I saw Abraxas on CD and I picked it up. And so we'll see how this goes. I'm not promising anything.
Okay.
But I've heard a lot of other people aside from you, so the two of you say, if you're going to pick up a Santana album, pick up this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
so.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes. I know a couple songs on it already, but I'm excited to hear the rest of it. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Greg Raleigh, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
I love the first three Santana albums. After that, it's kind of hit or miss. The late '90s when he did that Latino and that whole Latino craze, and all of a sudden, like, he had the album with all different singers.
Yeah.
Now, some of the songs on there were
Really
decent.
good.
Like, he had some pretty good things on there. But that whole Smooth with Rob Thomas, I just got so goddamn sick of that fucking song, dude. I was like, dude, it could just kind of turn me off. And I think he tried to do another one like that because
Yeah, he did like a second one.
Yeah, because that hit so big, then it's like, let's just milk it out. You know what I mean? But for me, the first three Santana albums are excellent. Like with Greg Raleigh, I think even the fourth one is good too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was looking into it a little bit when I picked this up, and I saw people will say the first three are kind of like the original band, and then the fourth, fifth, and sixth, he went a little bit more like jazz fusion-ish a little bit. So I'm actually interested in looking into those a little bit just because I'm such a big jazz fusion guy. Yeah. But I'll see how this goes. I think
the fourth one starts with Neil Sean got in there. Then he did. I think he was on that one.
He was on the third. He was on the third and the fourth.
The third and the fourth. Okay,
there's the 3 in Carnival.
Yeah.
The number 4.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But listen, Joe, if you're gonna listen to an album and you're not gonna dig it, I mean, you'll probably just stop there.
Yeah, stop there.
Probably.
That is his best album. That is his most famous album of his whole career. Is that one right there?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say that, Al? Abraxas?
No, Abraxas is. I agree.
Yeah, that's his most famous one, which was his second album. But I've got all the stuff on vinyl up until 19. No, I got Z-Bop on probably about.
That's the one with Winning on it, right?
Yeah, Z-Pop's got Winning on it.
And I like that song.
But I've also got Supernatural on CD and the one after that, so I got quite a bit of Santana, quite a bit. So I'm a big fan of his, though. All right, Al, what do you got next?
All right, continuing on with my autographed items. Yeah. Here's a Mountain album signed by Leslie West.
Oh wow!
And he didn't sign it by him though, which kind of disappointed me. He signed it over here, over what's his name? Keyboard player Steve Knight. He signed it over him.
Maybe he had a beef with him. I don't know.
I was like, darn it, man. You know, but hey, listen, he's gone now. I'm just glad to have an autograph. I have a couple things autographed by him actually. Yeah. I have a CD. And then I also have a ticket stub signed by him and Corky Lang, which was cool. I met them after a show one time. I kind of regret not getting a picture with him now, though. But still, it was cool to meet him, and he was a sweetheart of a guy. Really, really cool dude. Yeah. Leslie West, he's a legend, man. I love Mountain, great band. And then here we have Sorceress by Opeth. Now, a friend of mine and it's hard to see like their signatures because they actually signed it in black, but the whole band did sign it over here. Sorceress, actually, a friend of mine, he picked this up for me. They did an in-store in like Brooklyn, New York, or somewhere, and he was going into it was before a show that they were doing at Radio City Music Hall in New York City, and I was meeting my friend there for the show, but I wasn't able to make it to the in-store. It was kind of too far for me, so he picked this up for me. I had gotten him a ticket, and then he picked it as a thank you. He went to the in-store and got this sign for me and picked up the sound for me.
That's
So
awesome.
that was really nice. It was my friend Mark from Long Island. So that's another one. This one I got from a radio station. It's Disturbed. Their Immortalized album. It's signed by the whole band there. I've met Disturbed as well too. They're really cool guys. So, but I'll stop at that one there. So
I like their album covers. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they do have some good album artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do.
Their last couple haven't been great. Like Evolution was like a DNA helix. It was kind of stupid, but Immortalized is a really cool album cover.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah.
I don't. Disturbed sometimes gets thrown into that like new metal thing. I never really thought of them as that though. I don't know. I guess maybe
I've heard them kind of lumped into two things. I've heard them either lumped into new metal or lumped into like the Godsmack kind of butt rock of the early 2000s, which they are more like that, but I think they're much better than Godsmack.
Yeah.
It seems that Mark Allen Taylor is a big fan of theirs as well. The next ones I grouped the best that I could. This band here was brought to my attention by William Toth. I'm sorry. Our friend up there in Canada, but also from Al Horta, as well as mentioned this band several times. So I picked up this album by them. It's not the one that we talk about that much, but it's Max Webster.
Oh, okay.
A Million Vacations.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I'm excited about this one too, because y'all talk about them quite a bit.
So. I dig that band, man.
Yeah.
I first learned about them because of them opening for Rush and always hearing stories of they're on the same label. And then they actually did a song with Rush on their final album called Battle Scar. So that's why I got like kind of interested in them. And they also have kind of, it's almost like kind of, they're a little bit, if you like Frank Zappa, you'll I almost kind of consider Kim Mitchell almost kind of a little bit of a Frank Zappa of Canada. He's got that quirky sensibility to him, and he's a great guitar player. And I mean, if you really want to hear the Zappa influence, you get their first album, and then but that's a good album too. I mean, they only did 5 albums and they're all solid, man. They're all really good albums. So I'm glad you got that. Let me know how that is when you listen to it.
Yeah, I sure will. And this one was, I think we did the best in 1980 with Brad Dahl, and he gloats about this band all the time with Ronnie Montrose Gamma.
Oh yeah.
So I picked up Gamma 1. I think this was like $3. I said, why not?
Yeah.
And my friends enjoy it, so I'm gonna check that out. And
cool.
We talked about this band the other day. I picked up 2 of their albums. I got their greatest hits on cassette and a couple of their albums, but I bought Argent and Deep.
Okay.
This one has God Gave Rock and Roll to You is how it starts off by Argent, and then their second album, Ring of the Hands, by Argent as well. So I'm excited to check these out too because I like Argent. I like his sound. And then this was just for fun. Because I like spoken word, and in fact, this is still sealed. And like my wife said, probably because no one wants to hear it. Well, I like spoken word. This is called The Incredible Year from 1968. Was the year. It was the news from CBS, so it's got Charles Kuralt as the narrator, and they go through the assassination of MLK and Robert F. Kennedy, a little bit of moon landing of what's going on in space in America, and the campaign trail, and news about the Vietnam War. and different things that was going on in America during that year. So I'm excited to hear about this. I've also got a couple of vinyls with Robert with JFK speeches, um, MLK speeches, and different stuff like that. So I always find stuff like that interesting. So I'm I'm interested in hearing that. And then those are the ones that stick together for now, and then I'll hit the other ones in a little bit. So go ahead, Joe. What you got?
All right, so for my last selection here, anyone who's been on the any of the Facebook pages that we're on the past couple days will know that I am about to embark on quite the deep dive, and that is the REM discography.
Oh yeah.
So the booth I was at, the same one I picked up the Steely Dan CDs from, had literally every REM CD from 83 to 94 in almost perfect condition, except for Out of Time. And so I picked up all of the other ones. So I'm interested to see. People have been telling me, and I know I like all the hits I know from them. And so I picked up pretty much everything from them, starting out with Murmur and Reckoning, Fables of the Reconstruction, Life's Rich Pageant, and then I picked up Dead Letter Office because it has the Chronic Town EP on the CD version, and I did listen to that already, and I really enjoyed the EP. I know you guys talked about it a little bit on one of the shows we did for 82, so I really enjoyed that EP, and then of course getting into some of their more really well-known albums with Document and Green.
One of my favorites.
I know the couple songs I know off that one I really enjoy.
I love Green, man. That's like really I and Document, but Green Document's kind of where I came into them, like where I really started like knowing them. But then Green, I don't know, just something about that album. I dig that album, man. So a lot. And there's a lot of great deep cuts on that album too, man. So what you're missing is what, Out of Time?
Yeah, and then I picked up Automatic for the People, and today I went back and picked up Monster.
Okay, so you got Monster,
and they had a version of New Adventures in Hi-Fi, but it was scratched up, so I didn't pick that one up. So I'm still looking to get Out of Time and New Adventures in Hi-Fi.
Well, I think I have an extra copy, so if I find it, I'll send it to you, man.
Sounds good, thank you. Yeah, so I'm really excited to kind of get into that.
Yeah,
that deep dive here. Like I said to Andy a little bit earlier, I'm planning on putting Murmur in the CD player as my drive to work tomorrow. So we'll start the deep dive and just kind of go right through.
Yeah. And if you heard the EP already, which is great, I just picked that up on vinyl. I showed it off on the show that we did. That's a great EP. But Murmur, man, that's a classic, dude. I mean, you're not going to understand Michael Stipe too much on there. There might be a reason why it's called Murmur, because he kind of murmurs the voice.
That's what every time I've seen it, I've seen like articles online about REM's like discography and stuff like that. They say it's called Murmur for a reason.
But musically, man, it's awesome. And they really were really different than everybody else. They really kicked off kind of that American alternative scene, man. College rock, what they used to call it back in the day, And I remember my older brother, man, he had a friend who was really into alternative, and he made him a mixtape, and it had some REM on there. This is really early on, even before Document came out. And I remember hearing it, but then it was cool, But I mean, I was full on metalhead at the time, so it didn't really grab me right away. But then Document came out, and I remember seeing the videos on TV. I really got it. And I picked that album up, and I was like, wow, this is really good, man. So I kind of went back and discovered the older stuff. And I love Green. I mean, you got all the prime REM really that you need, man. I mean, pretty much after Adventures of Hi-Fi, when Bill Berry left the band, I think they lost something in their songwriting. Because he may have just he wasn't just a drummer. I mean, he really was involved in the songwriting, and he played other instruments on the album as well. I remember he played bass, and he played, I think, keyboards and stuff like that. So he was really a talented guy, and he helped really write. There's another band where all four of them are really equals in that band. They really all wrote the songs and stuff like that. So So good luck with that. You let me know like how it goes, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, everything I know from them I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Except for like 1 or 2 songs. But everyone's always told me go back and listen to the early stuff, especially. So I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, I can do without. I could do
for
without the shiny happy people and
That's that and Everybody Hurts are the two. That's the two.
Yeah, but I love those songs. I really do.
No, I know it's fine. I mean, they're
everybody shits on them. I don't know why.
They're like the fun poppy songs that they put out. I mean, I remember and people kind of shit on Stan too.
I love that song.
But I love that song. I mean, and then I first let my daughter hear that song when she was younger, and it's very like, kind of like she was very intrigued by it. She liked the song, dude. So it's kind of like if somebody gets into it through that song and gets into that, then I'm all for it, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and like I was telling Joseph earlier, if you liked Chronic Town, it's all uphill from there. It's all great from there.
Oh, the IRS years, man. When they were on IRS, is all they don't have a bad album on that whole run, man. Up to Document, and then I think with Green they went to Warner Brothers, but still Green, and that whole kind of first couple album run is really good. Automatic for People is a good album. It's very very acoustic. I mean, like when they did Out of Time and Automatic for People, they really did a lot of acoustic based songs on those albums. And the funny thing is, they didn't tour for those albums. It wasn't until Monster when they toured again. I saw them on that tour, and they had 3 albums really that they were pulling all new songs from on that. So it was like they hadn't toured since the Green tour.
Wow.
The only thing they did in between there was that REM. They did MTV Unplugged, which was really like the early when Out of Time was out, 91 or something like that. So yeah, they hadn't toured in quite a few years. I remember when they came back, man, people went crazy. It was and they put on a great show, man. I saw them, and I saw them in '90. I saw them in the New Adventures of Hi-Fi too, I believe. Then '98, I think I saw. Was that album '98? I think so, something like that.
96, I think.
Oh, actually, no. I saw them on the Up tour. It was after Bill Berry.
Up was 98.
Yeah, so Up was 98, 99. So I saw them in '99. Yeah, so for that album, so I saw them twice. So yeah, man.
Say the production on Out of Time and Automatic for the People was weird. It kind of sounded a little dense and murky, right? Kind of a darkish overtone.
I think John Paul Jones had a lot to do with Automatic for the People.
Okay.
I know he did orchestration and stuff like that. So, which was kind of cool because I'm such a Zeppelin fan.
Yeah.
So and I could see that.
Yeah.
I don't think it wasn't produced by him, but it was. He did the orchestration and stuff on there. So,
speaking of that X album, they do a cover of Soul Kitchen, and
really?
Produced by Ray Manzarek.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay,
yeah. I didn't know that until I read the I started reading the credits. Very, very interesting people to read the information that's handed to you with music. So much fun to read. All right, I'll go for it, man.
All right, I guess I'll just show off the last couple of things I got. Not really much left. I mean, but just here's a Sacred Group by George Lynch, which is autographed by him. I met him when he did a show in New Jersey, and he was hanging out back at a venue. I just happened after the show, after whatever, I just happened to walk around the back of the venue, and he's talking to 2 other guys, so outside in the back. So I just kind of walked up, man, and just kind of was just hanging out, listening to them conversate. I think one guy bought a guitar for him to sign and stuff like that. So I just happened to have the CD on me, and he was cool to sign it for me. So I remember one of the guys asked him for a picture though, and he was kind of refused the picture. So I didn't end up asking for a picture. I don't know why he refused a picture. It was dark outside too, but I don't know. Maybe he just didn't feel like taking a picture or something. So I didn't end up asking.
Gone to you.
I don't know. But I mean, he gave me an autograph and he talked for a while, so it was cool. Yeah. This is a New Jersey band, and I'm friends with most of the guys. Prophet. This is Cycle of the Moon. This is actually a Megaforce. It's a Megaforce, and it came out in '88. remember my brother first getting the CD, so I got the CD here too, and it's signed by them.
Oh wow!
And I got the vinyl. I picked up a vinyl a while ago, like in a used, like a flea market or something, and I had the three guys sign it. And they're a great band. I mean, if you ever get a chance, like check them out. I mean, they're more kind of like they're hard rock, kind of AOR kind of stuff, but they were on Megaforce, man. I mean, then the guitar player was killer. He ended up he taught like Zach Wild too and stuff like that. So they were a mainstay on the New Jersey club scene in like the late '80s. And then I got the Quiet Riot Mental Health signed by Rudy Sarzo. A friend of mine met him, so he got it signed for me. So that's really it. That's all I got to show off. So
I've got a few more stuff, but I'll group them up together. This makes it closer for me.
I'll be back in a second too.
Yeah. This is going to help fill out almost through with my Rolling Stones collection. I did not have it's
only rock and roll.
I did not have it, which was odd, but I didn't. But man, look how beautiful that looks. I think I paid $3 for it. Fucking great. I really love the my tongue logos when they start producing stuff on their own. Also, this one, dude, this was $3, and I was so surprised. Rave Up with Yardbirds with Jeff Beck on it. Look how clean that looks, dude. I'm pretty sure it's a reprint. It's on the Epic label, but I need to look up the serial number. Not that I'm ever going to sell it, but I'm just curious. But yeah, the Yardbirds Rave Up. And also, this great guitarist, I really enjoy his guitar playing. Al's the one that really got me into. Oh yeah, Al. I was talking about the Rave Up with the Yardbirds.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, and also I remember you were telling me about Eric Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I found his debut. I think this is his debut solo or Tones.
Yes, that's his debut.
Which it was $2.
Oh wow, cool.
So I couldn't go wrong with that, and look how clean that looks.
Oh yeah, man.
Off of the reprise.
I think that came out in '86, I believe.
And before that, I did not have It's Only Rock and Roll by the Stones. So I picked
cool.
it up as well. And also, this is the second album by this band. I've got quite a few of theirs. So when I saw this, I got excited. It's on the Deram London label. 10 years after. This is the Undead album. This is their second one. I think I got their first. So I got the first Stonehenge, and that one with a statue, that green, the one that you were talking about the other day.
Cricklewood Creek.
Yeah, and a couple of their live albums as well, and some Alvin Lee by himself after he left the band. But yeah, man, I'm very interested in hearing this one. And then I'll save my last one for last, but I'm going to throw this one on there. Y'all were talking about Santana. This was Moonflower. It's a double album from the late 70s. It's a mix of studio and live. Actually, his first live that he released, because everything until then was just studio. So this is a mixture of studio and live. It's a double album. Also another one that I would recommend for you, big time, Joe, is the one that he does with John McLaughlin.
Oh yeah.
Surrender. All that is just instrumental jazz fusion, like a mofo.
Yeah.
With Joe Santana and McLaughlin taking turns on each song.
They only did one album together, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So check that one out whenever.
Okay.
Yeah. So go for it. I'll save my last one for last.
I think Al and I both finished ours already.
I think we're done, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can show off one more thing actually, but it's not an autographed item. But my friend John up in he lives up in New Jersey. He went to I went to the first annual Bubba Bash, which is a tribute to Neil Peart and Mike Portnoy and Frank Bello from Anthrax, and it was the band Why Not. Rush tribute band, I kind of put it on, and they would come up and guest with them and do all like it was a Rush tribute to Neil. So this was the second annual one, and he was very nice to actually grab a shirt for me from the show, and it's cool. It's got Neil in the back, and it's got. So it's Why Not, Mike Portnoy, Frank Bello, Jonathan Dinklage, which we played the violin when they toured, when they had the string section for Clockwork Angels.
And he played on like when they did Losing It on the
Losing It on when I saw
on
them
the R40.
Yeah, on the R40
R40
came out for Losing It. Yeah, they didn't play Losing It on every show, but they
Mm-mm.
played select shows where. And here's a laminate that he got for me, which is really cool. Kind of like a little advertisement, like postcard, and also a poster version of it right here, which is really cool. So my buddy John, I grew up with him, man. He's like one of my best friends. And John, if you're listening, man, thank you so much for this. He's awesome. So I just want to kind of just show that off. So that's what I got there, man. Go ahead, brother.
My last thing, I'm so excited I got this for years. For years, I've been looking for this. Sometimes I found it on cassette with a cassette or two missing, or a CD or two missing. But this was actually the first box set ever released. That's just what started the box set craze. Bob Dylan's Biograph.
Oh, okay.
I tried to get this. All 5 vinyls are on there. The guy said he thinks that they were never played, so I pulled them out. They look like they've never been played before, and it was $30.
Okay.
I let that go. It was $30, and it came with this big ass book with like all the information about all the songs. And then when you open it up, they're each individually wrapped, and it's got a kind of a paragraph of each song of where it came from, what the what the song means, and where it was recorded. Just the history of each song.
So that's a compilation of his stuff up until that time when it was released.
Yeah, with also tracks that are unreleased as well.
Okay.
Stuff that he didn't release is also on here and hasn't been released since. But look how pretty that looks.
Yeah, man.
The record, all 5 of them look like this, man. And like you can still feel when you pull it out, you can feel the little bit of elasticity of it. Like it was never even bothered with. So yeah, dude, I'm very excited. I saw it and I was like, dude, I wonder how much it is. And I pulled it out, and man, it was $30, and I couldn't believe it. And the box and everything just looked so perfect. So,
and that's one of the first box sets that released, you said, right?
Yeah. That's what started, kicked off his career, and then, kicked off his career. And then after that, Clapton tried it too with Crossroads.
I got that one. I remember I bought that one.
Same thing for him too.
Yeah.
And I keep on seeing Crossroads at a record store that I go to near my work, but it's on cassette, which is fine with me. But there's a cassette missing.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
I have the CD version. That was like one of the first box sets I ever bought. And I bought it on CD version. So I still have that. I remember the Zeppelin one, the 4 CDs, Zeppelin one. That was like one of the early box sets I bought. I remember that was a big deal. I remember when I was released.
That too.
Yeah, so I remember there was the box set craze,
Yeah, like right there, because this was in '85, dude.
Yeah. Oh wow, yeah. So that's there was really no box sets before that.
Right, because the rest of them came out like in the late '80s, '87, '88.
Yeah, the Crossroads one I think was like '88, I think.
Yeah, so this one was '85. That's crazy.
Yeah,
and it's got 5 albums, so it comes out to 10 sides. And the only thing, of course, I got to gripe about something. The only thing I didn't like about it as I'm reading it, it's not in chronological order.
Oh, okay.
Which I which when I do compilations or whatever, I love to hear them in chronological order so that you can see the development that that the band went under. So like the first disc, it starts off with Lay Lady Lay, which was off of Nashville Skyline, and that's in '69.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and then also on the same side, it's got something off of John Wesley Harding and an unreleased track, and then also it's got "If Not for You" off of New Morning, which we know that George Harrison also did that on oh
The Zeppelin one's like that too. It's not in chronological.
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Jimmy,
must pass.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Page made it like he did like I like the sequence like he did it, and he made like the songs kind of like flow into each other like really really good, almost like if you were like seeing them in concert or something like that. He kind of did it that way, so
Yeah,
which I thought was cool.
yeah. So
I was
maybe
alright with that.
so maybe that's what this will be too. To maybe its side is connected to a theme. I don't know yet. But dude, I'm so excited. I was. I think I pissed in my pants, but I don't know. Back out. I was like, oh my god, because I've never seen an attack like this, and it's so perfect, and it's on vinyl. Because I've seen on vinyl like expensive, and I should have gone to this guy's table first because I took just a certain amount of money, so I don't go crazy. But his table was the last one that I hit, so I left a lot of things behind. Like I left a Steve Howe solo album when in and it was in the mid '70s because it still had all the Yes artwork on there.
Yeah,
And the same thing for Chris Squire. Chris Squire, he had a Chris Squire on there as well, but I had already
the fish out of water. I think that's probably what it was.
I forgot the name of it.
Uh,
But there was certain stuff that I put back, like Beach Boys "Love You." I really want to get more Beach Boys after Pet Sounds because I got everything else before that, and like after Pet Sounds, I kind of like blah blah blah. It's no good.
yeah,
But then our good buddy Edwin Scott, um, Edwin Conestrossi is a big fan of that era of Beach Boys, so I wanted to check it out. But
yeah,
I'll put it back. The next time I go to one of these, I'm going to go ahead and hit that dude's table first.
yeah.
I I had asked if I could take a picture of him, so I remember he told me no, but I'll try to find him the next time I go. Which is my wife bought me for a Valentine's. He got me a ticket to go to the Austin Record Convention in May. So we're gonna go do that in May, and that place it's huge. So I'm gonna have to save up some money to go to that and walk around a little bit more. Because as soon as I walked in, I I dropped a 20 at the first table I saw, which were the CDs that I sent you. I said, "Shit, man, I gotta look around. I mean, I can't just spend all my money. There's one table. I gotta keep going." So
Yeah, dude, it's like you can't when you first walk in. It's like you gotta like kind of look around first, man. Like,
I know.
but I know if it's something you really want and you want to get, like, my philosophy is if it's something that's like really like grabbing me and I want it, I'll buy it. But like if it's just something like, it's cool to have, but let me walk around first because you're gonna find shit that you want probably better or more than it always happens that way, man. So. But
Yeah. So
no,
right now,
record
I'm
conventions
plugging
are
in
cool,
holes.
man.
Right now, I'm
I was
plugging
going to
in
record
holes.
conventions in the '90s, man, when
Yeah,
vinyl was dirt cheap, man.
dirt
And
cheap, dude.
and then practically there. I mean, you could get a vinyl for like 50 cents, $1, but in pristine condition. I mean, shit that's worth like $100 now, $200, man. I just kind of wish I bought more back then, but
I know, I know. Me too.
and a
Like,
lot of '90s pressings. '90s pressings are the stuff that fetches a lot of money because they were only pressing limited quantities and usually like imports too. They were pressed overseas because by the '90s, man, like U.S. wasn't pressing records anymore, and if bands were putting stuff out on vinyl, they were usually imports, stuff from like Europe or Japan or whatever,
Right.
because they had pressing plants still over there. And I remember because my brother was a big Pearl Jam fan. I remember when they were coming out with the second album, Versus. I remember, I think I don't know if it was a week or like a couple of weeks before it was coming out on CD. It might have been a month actually before it was coming out on CD. They actually were releasing a vinyl, limited quantities of vinyl first. So my brother and I, we should go buy the vinyl, man. So we each bought one, and he opened his up, and I kept mine sealed. And we made a cassette tape off of the vinyl so we can listen to it in the car. And then when the CD came out, eventually I went and bought the CD of it. But I remember like I still have my sealed vinyl, man. It's an original pressing, so it fetches like a lot of money, So they've since reissued it and stuff, but everybody always wants those original pressings, man. So I don't know. Maybe one day if I need the money, I'll sell them.
No, because I got.
And my brother ended up giving me his vinyl copy anyway. He was like, I don't really. He gave me a lot of his vinyl, which was good. I think during COVID, he went and rebought a turntable, and he got back into listening to some vinyl again. But he gave me a lot of his vinyl, man. And the Pearl Jam Versus was the one that was opened already. So I have an open one and I have a sealed one, so I can easily sell the sealed one if I wanted to.
I remember I bought that on cassette when it came out.
Yeah.
And then later on, when they did the re-releases, is when I got on vinyl.
Yeah.
As well, and on CD. That one I've got in different versions of it. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for joining me, guys, on this surprise Black Spinner show. I appreciate it. Y'all taking the time and sharing what y'all have gotten recently.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being on. I'll be on vacation this week, so I'm glad that we were able to get a show in here to represent this week. Next week on the Black Spinner Circle, it's Al's pick, and we're going to be doing the top 10 albums plus 5 honorable mentions with song titles that have the number 2 or
it's
two.
Songs top 10 songs that have to do with number 2, have 2 in the title, or anything to do with 2. It could be Second Coming or Second Wind or
Twice.
Duel. It could be Duel or something like that, or it could be or even something with Twin. Twin means 2. It could be that. So anything that has to Twice as Hard, that could be one of the songs. Anything that has to do with 2. So in the title.
So I stuck to the number, but that's just me, and I finished my 15.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is a damn good list. I love it.
Yeah. So
it was a lot of fun to do. It really was. And
it makes you think. It makes you think of a lot of different shit. So
it really.
I'm doing it because it's February. It's the second month of the year. I kind of want to do a theme with every month of the year. So coming in March, I have an idea already for March. So we'll do that when we come to that.
And the next episode after that, I will talk about it a little bit more. But what we're going to do is we're going to be turning a double into a single. So the double album by Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, we're going to turn that into a single album.
Okay.
And omit tracks that we believe was not our favorite tracks on that album. Joseph already told me what he thought about it. He thinks
I could easily turn the double album into a single. Don't buy it.
He can turn it
Joe's not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest with you, like that album was really like the last album of the Pumpkins. I kind of dropped off the Pumpkins train after that one. So
I stayed on for a while.
Yeah. But Joe, man, thanks for coming on, brother.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Always good to see you, man.
Let
me know how that REM deep dive goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll be starting it tomorrow. So
cool. Andy, my brother, always good to see you. Have a good vacation, man, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I will see y'all next week, but I'll be in touch with y'all during the week and all that. So I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all take care, and y'all have a nice Sunday evening.
All right, you too. Cheers.
Cheers.